Look at all the stuff we know now. We know all the notes on the piano keyboard. We know that there are only 12 unique keys, and we know how to find them. We know how to measure the distance between any two of those notes using half steps and whole steps. And the last thing that we learned was how to use a pattern of whole steps and half steps to make a major scale starting at any note that we want. Now we're ready, finally, to play some chords. Yes, in your face. That's not the right phrase. Sorry, I'm just really excited. We're gonna start by playing major chords. Now there are a couple different ways that we can make or build our major chords. I'm gonna start by explaining the long way so that you understand the concept, and then I'll show you the short, easy way, the chord hack. So stay tuned for that. The good news for us is that if you know the 8 notes that make up a major scale, which you do, it's really easy to make a major chord. All you need to do is play the first, the third, and the fifth notes of that scale together at the same time. Let's check it out with the C major scale. All right, we know that the 8 notes of the C major scale are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are 8 notes. If we pick the first note, we skip the second note and we play the third note, we skip the fourth note and play the fifth note, that's a C major chord, or the C major triad. Since it's 3 notes, we can call it a triad, and we can use either word interchangeably here. I like to use my thumb, my index finger, and my ring finger to play those 3 notes. But if it's more comfortable for you, you can use your thumb, middle finger, and pinky. Whichever is easiest for you. Another something that you want to keep in mind is, generally speaking, you're going to want your wrists above the keyboard so that you're extending your fingers down to play the notes rather than reaching up like that. And lastly, if you try all those things and after some practice you still find that playing with 3 notes is just awkward and tough, it's no problem. You can always modify to 2 notes. In that case, you'll want to play the root and the major third. Personally speaking, I think it's the playing the songs that's the fun part. So the faster we can get you having fun playing songs, the better. Even if it's playing songs with 2-note chords, and then when you feel comfortable, you add the third note. And then, for those of you who get comfortable with that, we'll eventually show you how to add more notes so you're playing with 6 notes, like that. Let's try to find a G major chord. We need to figure out the G major scale. We're going to start on G, which is grandma's room, right? And then use your pattern of whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step to figure out the G major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, that's the G major scale. So let's try to make a G major chord. What do we need? The first, the third, and the fifth notes of that scale. Play them together. G major. All right, so we know that the first, third, and fifth notes of the major scale will always make a major chord of the same name. That first note, so that G, will be the root. The root of the G major scale, or the G major chord, will always be G. That's our root. The second note that we play, the one in the middle, will be called the third. Technically, it's called the major third, because it's the third note of the major scale. Because it's the third note of that scale. And then the last note that we play will be called the fifth, because it's the fifth note of the scale. Root, third, major third, fifth. That makes a major chord. It sounds like we know what we're talking about, doesn't it? Now we're going to try and figure out an F major chord. But this time, we're going to use a shortcut. So it's time for Chord Hacks! This is the short way to figure out a major chord. We can use our steps to shortcut. For instance, if we're trying to find the F major chord, we are going to find the root of the chord, which is F. So that's our root. And then if we count 4 half steps from F, that'll land us on the next note we need to play. So 1 half step, 2 half step, 3 half step, 4 half step lands us on the A. And then if we count 3 half steps from there, 1 half step, 2 half step, 3 half step, that'll land us on the C. If we play those 3 notes together, that'll be our F major chord, and there's the shortcut. Wait, is there something about that F major triad that looks familiar? Looks a lot like the G major triad. If you saw that, you're correct. The distance between notes in our F major chord and our G major chord are exactly the same, and the exact same as the C major chord. So that's going to help us. If we can keep our finger position the same, keep the distance between our fingers the same, it'll make it a lot easier to transition from one of those chords to the other. Let's try to go from G to F. Play the G major. In order to switch to F, all we need to do is lift our hand, move our thumb over to the F, and the rest of our hand should follow, so we can play the F major chord. Can we move over to the C? Once again, use your thumb as a guide and find the root, which is C. C major. So we can go between all three of those chords. Play C major, G major, F major. Sounds like a song. Yeah, we love learning chords, come on. Can't wait to learn some more chords. Woo, can't wait to learn more chords. Steve, stop playing the piano because you gotta teach us some more chords. Okay, I can do that. All right, so let's move on. All right, who out there thinks they can find the three notes in the D major triad? This one's a little different than the other three chords we've learned so far, but it's all right. If you just use your chord hack, you can figure it out. Find the root of the chord, then count 4 half steps, then count 3 half steps, and that should give you the 3 notes that you need. You can pause the video, figure it out, and then come back here when you're ready. You're ready already? All right. So, what are the 3 notes in the D major triad? Those out there who said D, Raj, and rerun, oh, you're so close. That's actually a correct answer, just to a different question. But those out there who said D, F sharp, and A, that was the answer I was looking for. Down there's the D major scale. And once again, here's how we use the chord hack to make our D major chord. First, find the root, then count up 4 half steps from there to find the major third, and then count up 3 half steps from there to find the 5th. Awesome. That is the D major triad, or D major chord. Now, you probably noticed this chord looks a little different than the other 3. We have a sharp note in the middle there, right? We have F sharp, so it makes the shape of the chord look different, and our finger position is slightly different. There are 2 other chords that have the exact same finger position as this D major chord, and those are A major and E major. Let's try to find the E major chord. Start with a D major, play that one again. All we need to do is keep the distance between our fingers the same and find the root with our thumb. The new root is going to be E. Slide right over to E. That's our E major. Can we go back to D major? Now E major. Beautiful. Now you can try and go over to the A to play an A major. Slide over to A. Remember, A is the attic in the main house. And that's A major. So you can go from A major to D major to E major by keeping your hand position the same. Now, I'll admit that playing these 3 chords is harder and tougher to find with your fingers than the C, F, and G were. So I wanted to let you know that for the first bunch of songs that we'll be playing with the song tutorials, we'll mostly be playing the simpler chord shapes. But since this is a video about making major chords, I thought I'd at least show you these. And remember, when we do start to introduce some of these harder shaped chords, you can always modify to 2 notes. That's the E major, the D major, and the A major with 2 notes. Still sounds pretty good. All right, let's finish this lesson with a song. Let's try to play Mary Had a Little Lamb in the key of F. There's a chord sheet in the description below. You can print it off and then we can play along. Remember, the chord sheet has lyrics of the song. Above the lyrics, we have the name of the chords that we need to play and when. What's our first chord for this song? F. We just learned how to play the F major chord. Let's find it on the keyboard. We find the root, then we have the major third, then we have the 5th. F major chord. There's only one other chord in this song, and that's the C major chord. All we need to do is take our hand, slide it up, find the new root with our thumb, which is C, and play C major. Okay, let's play along with the chord sheet. We'll start with F, and we're going to play the alternate lyrics, and hopefully the alternate lyrics will help us remember when to play F and when to play C. The beginning of the melody is going to start on this A. So, Franny had a fickle lamb. That'll be the melody of the song if you want to sing along. Start with the F chord. We'll take it slow. 1, 2, here we go. Franny had a fickle lamb. Move up to the C. Can you see Franny's lamb? Franny had a fickle lamb. Up to the C again. Whose car was white as fine snow. So we have the same pattern for the whole song. We're going to play F, then F, then C, then F, 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 then C, then F. All right, let's try it with the real lyrics or the original lyrics. And we'll try something slightly different this time through. Some people like to play the chords that are further left with their left hand and the chords that are further up on the piano keyboard or further right with their right hand. We'll try that with this time. If you're going to play the F, you can play with your ring finger, index finger, thumb on your left hand, and then the C will be just the way that we've been playing it on your right hand. Let's give it a try with the original lyrics. And we'll pick up the tempo a little bit. 1, 2, here we go. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. There you go. I also included Mary Had a Little Lamb in the key of G. You could play that one, and you would start with a G major chord. And then the only other chord for that song is D. Remember, though, that D major has a different shape. Okay? All right, that's it. One more lesson to go, and that's about minor chords. You're almost there. After we finish that one, we're going to be playing a ton of your favorite songs. Not to say that Mary Had a Little Lamb is not one of your favorite songs. Probably is. But you know what I mean. You're doing a great job. Stick with it. We'll see you in the next video.